Welcome back. For today's deep dive, we've pulled together some really diverse sources. We're going from urgent global conflicts to a surprisingly long corporate standoff, and then diving into, well, how our minds actually work together.
It sounds like a stretch, I know. But we're aiming to connect the dots here between, the chaos in Sudan, the Nord Stream sabotage investigation, this huge labor fight in Sweden, and even something called cognitive science.
Yeah, and the central question we're kind of circling is, what links something like a bank run, the way language even functions, and this Tesla strike? The answer, we think, lies in this idea of common knowledge.
Okay, let's start with the really urgent stuff. Sudan, specifically El Fasher in Darfur. There are grave fears for hundreds of thousands trapped there. The paramilitary group, the RSF, they claim they've taken the army's main base.
Right, hundreds of thousands of people. And the situation is so confusing because the accounts just don't line up, do they?
Not at all. You've got the RSF saying, we're in control, we'll provide safe corridors. Public statements. But then the UN's humanitarian chief is saying he's deeply alarmed. They're getting reports that RSF fighters are actually pushing in, cutting off escape routes. The exact opposite.
And there are local militias fighting back, too.
That's right. The local pro-army group, the Popular Resistance Militia, they insist they're still holding out. So it's incredibly unclear who actually controls what on the ground.
We need to remember the backdrop here. This civil war, it started back in April 2023.
Yeah, and the humanitarian cost is just staggering. Over 13 million people displaced already. Half the country, literally half of Sudan's 51 million people, needs food aid. It's catastrophic.
And if the RSF has taken El Fasher, what does that signify?
It's huge. It would mean the RSF, led by Hemedti, controls all 5 states into Darfur. Analysts are genuinely warning this could lead to Sudan effectively splitting apart. Partition.
And we should probably remind ourselves, the RSF, their origins are concerning, to say the least.
Very concerning. They evolved directly from the Janjaweed militias. Those are the groups accused of committing genocide in Darfur back in 2003.
And the U.S. made a formal declaration about the RSF more recently.
Yes, just last January. The U.S. formally stated that the RSF itself had committed genocide. So when they claim control of a city full of trapped civilians, the level of risk is just immense.
Okay. Shifting gears now from that active conflict to a legal tangle in Europe. The Nord Stream pipeline sabotage back in 2022. What's the latest?
Well, there's been a development in Italy. An Italian court has approved the extradition of a Ukrainian man identified only as Serhiy K.
Serhiy K. And he's suspected of being involved how?
He's suspected of being one of the, let's say, key figures behind the explosions that damaged 3 of the 4 pipelines.
Yeah.
This extradition means German prosecutors can finally question him,
And they want to charge him with?
causing an explosion and anti-constitutional sabotage. He was arrested near Rimini, and getting him to Germany has been complicated legally.
Right, I heard it wasn't straightforward. There was a block at some point.
Yeah, exactly. The Bologna court initially approved it, but then Italy's highest court, the Court of Cassation, stopped it, cited procedural errors, sent it back to Bologna, which is now given the green light again.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because didn't Poland just do the opposite?
That's the really striking contrast, yeah. Just earlier this month, a Polish court halted Germany's request to extradite a different Ukrainian man also accused in the blasts. They actually ordered his release.
So the investigation into who was really behind blowing up Nord Stream,
Yeah.
it's still very fragmented across different countries.
Absolutely. No clear, unified picture yet.
Okay, let's move from that international intrigue to a different kind of conflict, one that's maybe less explosive, but just as fundamental in its own way. The Tesla strike in Sweden, it's just hit the 2-year mark.
2 years. It's quite something. And this isn't about, fighting over a few extra kroners hour. This is about the core principles of how work works in Sweden.
So what's the central issue? Let's unpack that.
It boils down to this. Tesla absolutely refuses to sign a collective agreement with the union, IF Metal. And in Sweden, that's almost unheard of for a company of this size.
Because collective agreements are the norm there.
Totally the norm. They cover something like 90% of all workers. It's the bedrock of their industrial relations model, has been for decades, since the 1930s, really. It ensures stability and predictability.
And the strike itself, it started with just 70 mechanics.
That's right, 70 mechanics walked out. But Tesla's response really escalated things. They brought in replacement workers.
Which is unusual in Sweden.
Highly unusual. It's not strictly illegal, but it violates these deeply ingrained norms of how disputes are handled. It just isn't done, systemically speaking. But Tesla, well, they seem determined to be norm breakers as their country lead put it.
And Elon Musk himself, he's not a fan of unions.
No. He's been quoted saying he disagrees with unions, that they create a lords and peasants sort of thing. Their local management says they prefer working closely with the team, directly, rather than through a formal agreement.
But the response from other unions has been pretty significant, hasn't it?
Oh, incredibly so. That's what makes this so interesting. It's not just IF Metal anymore. Dock workers in Denmark, Norway, Finland, they're refusing to unload Teslas.
Seriously?
Yeah. Garbage collectors won't pick up trash from Tesla facilities. Electricians won't connect new charging stations. Apparently, there are 20 idle chargers near Stockholm's main airport because of this. It's this amazing display of solidarity across the Nordic countries.
Wow. So the stakes are massive if the union backs down.
It potentially weakens that whole Swedish model everyone relies on. But if Tesla caves,
then maybe it gives a boost to union efforts in places like the US or Germany where Tesla also operates.
Exactly. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, really. And most analysts seem to think it's just going to drag on for a while longer. No easy resolution in sight.
Before we get to the concept tying this all together, let's just take a moment for a different kind of story. A really positive update, actually.
Yeah, this is about the young French boy who was thrown from the Tate Modern viewing platform back in 2019. A truly horrific incident.
Horrific. He was just 6 years old, thrown 100 feet. The injuries were, well, life-changing, a bleed on the brain, multiple fractures.
Just devastating. But his family shared an update recently. They call him their little knight. And they reported that he achieved a personal goal he'd set himself before his next operation.
Which was?
He wanted to be able to run, jump, and swim again. And despite everything, he did it. He's managed to regain those abilities. It's just an incredible testament to resilience, isn't it?
Absolutely incredible. That kind of focused private effort and determination within a family.
Exactly. And it serves as a kind of counterpoint, maybe, to what we're about to discuss. The rules that govern coordination on a massive public scale.
Which brings us to this idea of common knowledge.
Okay, common knowledge. We're drawing here from work by Steven Pinker, right? In his book, When Everyone Knows That, Everyone Knows. That's the one. And this concept, common knowledge, it's like the hidden scaffolding holding society together. It explains why bank runs happen, why labor agreements matter, even why language works.
Okay, it sounds important, but maybe a little abstract. Can we make it concrete? You mentioned bank runs. How does common knowledge explain a bank run?
Right, good place to start. Think about it.
Yeah.
A bank might be perfectly solvent. You might privately believe it's fine. But then maybe a rumor starts.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And critically, you realize that other people are hearing the rumor too. And you realize that they know that you know.
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone sees everyone else starting to look nervous, maybe heading towards the bank.
So even if you think the bank is fine, you have to run.
You have to run. Not because you personally know it's insolvent, but because you know that everyone knows that everyone else knows it might be. That shared awareness, that common knowledge of potential panic becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fear itself causes the collapse.
Wow, okay, that makes the stakes very clear. So define common knowledge for us, again, in Pinker's terms.
It's basically knowledge that is infinitely recursive. It's not just, I know X and you know X. It's, I know X, I know that you know X, I know that you know that I know X, and so on, forever.
Ad infinitum, right.
It goes beyond just shared information.
Yeah.
It's a state of mutual awareness of the shared information. Cognitive scientists talk about recursive mentalizing, thinking about what others are thinking about what you're thinking.
Okay, my head hurts slightly, but I think I get it. It happens automatically when something is really obvious, right? Like if we both see the same event happen right in front of us.
Exactly. If we both see someone spill coffee and we see each other seeing it, boom. Common knowledge is established instantly. The loop is closed.
And why is this loop so important?
Because it's absolutely necessary for coordination, especially on arbitrary things. Think about meeting a friend. It's not enough for you both to know you, like meeting at, say, the big clock tower.
Right.
You need common knowledge. You need to know that your friend knows that you know that the clock tower is the obvious, the mutually salient place to meet. You usually achieve that with a quick phone call, right? See you at the clock tower. Yep. Common knowledge established.
Okay, so that's why language works too. The word rose.
Use that specific flower purely because of common knowledge. We all know that everyone else knows that rose refers to that flower. There's no other reason. It's just a convention held in place by that shared recursive awareness.
And social norms, like things we just don't do in public.
Same principle. Not telling offensive jokes or covering certain body parts, it persists mostly because of a shared common expectation of what polite or decent people just don't do. It's not always about direct enforcement.
And then quick question. What about things everyone thinks everyone knows but are actually wrong? Like the myth that we only use 10% of our brains. If if everyone else believes it, is that common knowledge too?
That's a great point. And yes, in a functional sense, it can act like common knowledge. Pinker emphasizes that common knowledge often dictates behavior based on shared belief, even if the belief itself is false.
Okay.
Think about a no smoking sign. Your compliance isn't just about fear of the fine, it's also about the common knowledge the sign creates. You expect that if someone did challenge you for smoking, others would back them up, because the sign makes the norm public and shared. The shared expectation drives behavior.
I see. So bringing this back to the things we discussed earlier, the confusion in Sudan, the Tesla strike,
Yeah.
it's all about what people believe, other people believe.
Exactly. In Sudan, the conflicting reports create uncertainty. There's no common knowledge about who is truly in control, which makes coordinated action or even just trusting information really difficult. It breeds instability.
And the Tesla strike.
That's a battle over common knowledge itself. The Swedish system runs on the common knowledge established by collective agreements. Everyone knows the rules. Tesla is trying to disrupt that common knowledge to make employment terms a private matter between manager and employee, not a shared public standard.
Ah, okay. That connects to something else Pinker mentioned, right? FDR's famous quote during the Great Depression.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Yes. Pinker argues that wasn't just good rhetoric, it was basically a theorem of common knowledge. FDR was telling people, if you prevent the fear from becoming common knowledge, you can prevent the bank runs. Don't let the recursive loop of panic start.
It also explains social skills, doesn't it? Like knowing when not to say something.
Definitely. Avoiding the elephant in the room is a conscious decision not to make an awkward truth common knowledge, precisely to allow the social interaction, the coordination game of politeness, to continue smoothly. It's about managing what gets ratified into that shared space.
So, wrapping this all up for you, the listener, what's the big takeaway? It seems like this shift from something being a private worry or belief to being common knowledge is incredibly powerful.
It's fundamental. It's the trigger for mass behavior change. Think about it. Panic buying toilet paper during the pandemic wasn't just because you were worried. It was because you saw everyone else was worried and knew they saw you worrying too. That common knowledge drove the hoarding.
So it's the difference between thinking privately, maybe the system is unfair, and knowing that everyone else also thinks it's unfair. That's when things can really change.
Precisely. That
Yeah.
shared realization is what can fuel everything from market crashes to strikes to revolutions.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to ponder, circling right back to that Tesla strike in Sweden. If the Swedish labor model thrives on the common knowledge provided by collective agreements, what happens when a powerful company actively tries to replace that with a kind of private knowledge, where your terms depend only on your manager? Can a system built entirely on shared norms and common knowledge withstand a force seemingly determined to break every single one of them? Something to think about.